The primary paragraph formatting that we'll need to do, as we'd expect, can be done quickly and easily from the ribbon. That's why they designed the ribbon the way that they did. The first thing that we're going to do, and really the simplest thing that we can do, is paragraph alignment. Alignment refers to the text anchor point on the page and how it flows from that point. In Word, we primarily denote this alignment based on the page margins. So if we take a look at what we have right here, we can see our margin in the ruler. The little gray area denotes the margin. And right now, Strategy for Organizational Success is sitting right up against that margin. So this is left aligned. Because this is a paragraph formatting feature, all we have to do is click somewhere on that line, and then we can go ahead and modify it. In this case, we're going to use the alignment button from the paragraph group on the Home tab, and we're going to choose the second one, which is to center align it on the page. We then, of course, could do the same thing for the You Got It Training Company and align that center as well. Now remember, because these are paragraphs and we can see those paragraph marks, it applied to each of these and we did not have to actually select any of the other text. But now let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's scroll down to where our content actually begins. This is where we start after the executive summary that says You Got It Training Company is a technology training company. This is an actual paragraph itself. We know that because at the end we can see that paragraph mark. It is right over here after the word audience needs. So now let's go ahead and simplify this a little bit. I'm going to turn off those characters like we did before just to get rid of all that extra clutter. But by clicking in this paragraph, we can now work with the paragraph itself. If you notice, currently on the right-hand edge, it's jagged. It doesn't look too bad in this case, but there is some extra spacing on the right-hand side. That's because this is a left-aligned paragraph, and when we have content that doesn't quite fill up the line, it has to go somewhere, and the extra space goes at the end. We do have the option to left-align, center-align, and right-align a paragraph. And you can see it's very subtle, but this is where we're talking about that anchor point. As you look at the left and right edges, that's where it becomes most visible. In this case, we might want to make it left aligned because that's kind of the default and the usual way that we're used to seeing text. But I did want to mention our last alignment option, which is called the justified setting. Justified type means that each one of our lines is made equal length. And if we look very carefully, and yes, I know we have the drop cap that makes it a little bit difficult to see, but we can see everything is even along the left edge and it's also even along the right edge. Well, how did that happen? Well, it happened because any extra spacing was actually added between the words in the line. Now, it's very subtle, so we have a hard time seeing it in a document like this. But if we look from line to line, you'll see that the words are spaced a little bit tighter or a little bit further apart. That's what they have to do to make justified type. It produces actually a very polished professional look when it's used correctly. And it does work well, like it does here, when text is written with fairly short words and when the width of the text block is wide enough. In this case, it's the width of a page, so that's okay. It can look very bad, though, in things like narrow columns of text because there's so much extra space that has to be added between the few words that it just looks disproportional and out of place. So you have to be careful with it. Of all the different types of alignment that we have, though, I really like justified type when it works well. But the alignment that you choose is going to depend on the purpose of the document and the specific block of text that you're working with. Since this is a large block of text, then justification works very well. As we move back up to the address information, this is actually something that we wanted to be right aligned. So one last thing in this particular lesson, let's go ahead and select all of that, and I'm doing that just by clicking and dragging. Then we can say, make that right aligned. And we also can come up and take out a few of those extra hard returns so that everything fits back on the first page like we wanted it. And I'm just pressing my delete key here. There we go. Now it all fits on the page that we want. This is one of the most basic paragraph formatting features that we do, and it really is very important in professional looking documents. So whether you choose left, center, right, or justified, just make sure it's appropriate for the format, the layout, and the purpose